how much money can you actually make, let's say, in a 30-day period? And what's kind of the average wholesale fee that you've seen somebody make in 30 days?
There's different stats out there. I've seen over $20,000 average wholesale fees across the United States. What we shoot for is a bare minimum of $10,000 per wholesale deal. We feel like that's an appropriate amount for the work that we put into each deal. Sometimes a deal will take 2 hours, sometimes 8 hours, sometimes longer than that. But you get a very high dollar amount per hour that you put in these deals. So I recommend shooting for at least 10. Our deals are usually around $10,000 that we see. So that's what I'd recommend. So all it takes, for you to make $10,000 from a wholesale deal is just doing one deal.
Right.
One deal. And what I want to do today is really break it down in a systematic manner so that you understand what the heck does it take to get that one deal.
Yeah, I want to reach that dollar amount. So if you could break down for me kind of the general process as to how to get that $10,000 in that 30-day period, wholesaling real estate.
Yeah, so what you want to do, what we need to think about is, how many written offers does it take to get one deal? Generally, we see it takes 10 to 15 offers to get one deal. To get a deal under contract that you wholesale and make $10,000. Doesn't take months to send one offer. You can send an offer on a daily basis. So let's break it down. You're doing an offer a day, 30 days in a month. You're submitting 30 offers. That can get you about 2 deals in a month. And when you're starting out, you're going to stink at submitting offers. You're going to stink at analyzing properties. You're going to stink at all these things. So is it probably going to take you a little more than what we see it typically takes? A person who's a little more experienced, is it going to take a little more offers probably for you? Yeah, it probably is. So, but as long as you have the right expectations, it should take about 10 to 15 offers. And we just released an interview recently with Chase and Diana Kenny, and 1 in 4 offers for them got them their first wholesale deals. So they submitted 8 offers, got 2 deals. But I want everyone's mindset to be in that 10 to 15 offer range.
Got it.
So if we, reverse engineer the goal of $10,000 and you submit anywhere between 15 to 30 offers in a month, that should get you about that one deal that makes you $10,000.
Right. And so a question that I had was property prices vary kind of a lot, right? So no matter where you find them, off market or on market. So say 10,000 is my base, right? So if the first step is finding these properties, where do I start to look for them, right, to get that $10,000 payout for wholesaling?
Yeah, this normal amount of $10,000, whether a property is listed for $200,000 or sometimes $800,000 or $1 million, generally we still see that $10,000 mark because the goal is, when we're wholesaling real estate, the goal is for you to get it below market value.
Right. And
the more below market value you get a house under contract, the bigger your wholesale fee. But here's what happens, and what everyone needs to understand. We're dealing with $800,000, $1 million properties. Now there's more risk involved for that end buyer, that cash buyer. So what do they need? That for a cash buyer who wants to fix and flip $1 million house, they're not going to be happy with a $30,000 profit flip on that. Right. They're not going to take on over $1 million of risk. That's $1 million purchase price plus maybe $200,000 of renovation to make $30,000. So we've seen this fee of $10,000 because you go at a higher price. It can change. It can be a bigger wholesale fee, but generally it's around this $10,000, sometimes $20,000 price point. So, because if you want to make a $10,000 wholesale fee and you're in the middle of America and the house is worth $150,000 of market value, and you get under contract at $140,000, you can make a $10,000 wholesale fee on that. You can make a $10,000 wholesale fee on that if your cash buyer wants to make $30,000, $40,000 of profit on it. If you find, we just had a student who wholesaled, a house was on the market for I think $1.695 million, and then they got under contract at $1.4 million. And then they wholesaled it at $1.410. So they made $10,000 on it. But that's just a case in point of you're dealing with as you start going up higher in price points, you're dealing with a more specific buyer. Right. Because generally fix and flippers, their bread and butter are 3-bed, 2-bath, 1,200 square feet houses, not the $1.2 million houses that are 5,000 square feet with 5 beds and 5 baths.
Yeah.
Because those are harder to turn around. There's a smaller end buyer pool. We have to think about the fix and flipper. When they fix and flip a house, they have to put it back on the market and sell it to the open market. Mm-hmm. So a lot more people are looking for those $500,000 houses that are 3-bed, 2 baths. So the most important thing is just keep in mind that the $10,000 fee is pretty good to shoot for.
Right.
And the amount of time, right? You need to look at how much time it takes for you to put in this deal. Whether it's a $1.2 million deal or a $300,000 deal, it's generally going to take you the same amount of time. So you're going to get generally the same amount of ROI.
Right. Before we kind of dive into these steps too, at the end of the day, we're making money, the cash buyer is making money. At what point do I say, well, the cash buyer can make, let's just say $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 on this. I still want my fee to be high, maybe even higher than usual, right? So is there any point that I should be reducing my fee to make them happy? Or is it better for me to just go for the highest wholesale fee that I can? Because I imagine a lot of us will want to do that,
Yeah. And this is where this is where you can bring bad deals to cash buyers.
Right.
So the most important thing is when we find our cash buyers, fix and flippers, we understand what type of profit they're looking for. Mm-hmm. I'm just going to tell you right now, most fix and flippers generally want, at the very least, regardless of price, $30,000 of profit.
30, yeah.
Now that changes, right? If we're buying $1 million, $2 million property, there's more. You just need to understand the risk that's involved with these bigger properties. Longer hold times. They're borrowing $1 million, $2 million of capital. There's more cost of borrowing that money. But to break it down, when do you adjust your wholesale fee in order to make a deal work? Right.
Yeah.
That was your question. Mm-hmm. That's the last thing that we want to adjust. So anytime we analyze a deal, I'm at least putting $10,000 into adjusting my purchase price to make sure I get a $10,000 wholesale fee. Mm-hmm. And let's say I talk to my cash buyers and they say, you know what, Alex, it's a little tight. If we get it $5,000 less, then we'll be able to buy it.
Right.
So where some wholesalers who are starting out might say, oh, let me just cut my wholesale fee in half, call it a day. Mm-hmm. What I recommend is first we're going to see if we can amend the purchase price. I'm going to talk to the real estate agent, talk to the seller, and see if we can negotiate the price down so I can still at least make my $10,000 wholesale fee.
Right.
It doesn't work all the time, but it absolutely can work. And you can have a 15-minute conversation now that makes you $5,000 more. So that's a pretty effective phone conversation. I'm going to try and find other cash buyers that will then pay a higher amount to hopefully make $10,000 or even more. Mm-hmm. But let's just say we just have this one cash buyer. I'm going to exhaust all other options as much as possible before reducing my fee because I want myself to make the largest wholesale fee possible. I want to make at least $10,000. Yeah. In this particular example. So that's the thing you do at the end. Mm-hmm. And the thing is, we shoot for $10,000. I've done deals where I made $2,000, $3,000. That's still a freaking win, and especially when you're starting out, right? You getting paid from knowing nothing about real estate to having no risk to getting paid $1,000, $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000. That's still a huge freaking win. So for anyone watching, or you've done deals or smaller deals, don't discount that. Yeah. Because let's say you do your first deal. Let's say you make a $1,000 wholesale fee. You did that knowing next to absolutely nothing. So do you think this next time around, knowing how to negotiate a little bit better, talk a little bit better, maybe just from the confidence of closing a deal, maybe you can squeeze out a little bit more in this next time around? Mm-hmm. Probably. Yeah. Right? So we need to acknowledge those wins and look at every single deal, whether it works well and we make $20,000 or we maybe make less, we make $2,000. Regardless if it works well or maybe not as well, how could we have made that better? What could we have done? Or what can we pick and pull from? What did I do on that $20,000 deal that I didn't do on the $2,000 deal? Yeah. As long as we have that continual learning, you're going to be A-okay. You're going to be fine in this business.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. So let's just say that I'm a beginner. So I'm going to aim for this 10,000 in 30 days. Yeah. You mentioned that there are certain properties I shouldn't go for, obviously, right? So if I'm kind of looking, around 4 properties to wholesale, where do you recommend the best place to find these types of properties?
Yeah, unless you're in rural Alaska, I recommend anyone in your own backyard. Start in your own backyard, where it's local to you, because you know so much more about your market than you think you do. Mm-hmm. we already talked before, you grew up in San Diego County. You know the most about San Diego County, probably more than any other county in the United States.
Yeah.
Or, Riverside County, right? So if you start there, now we completely eliminated, hey, where do I start? You want to start local, start in your own area. That way you can drive to properties if you need to. There's been many deals where agents or cash buyers say, hey, meet me at the property. Mm-hmm. Could not have done that and closed the deal unless I was local. So you want to start local. And, there's hundreds of ways to find deals. So let's say you want to do this in 30 frickin' days.
Yeah.
I'm not going to teach you to be a marketer and be a pro at direct response copy in 30 days and how to write letters and how to write letters at scale and spend $5,000 a month in marketing, and then teach you how to field these phone calls and filter through the swag, the tire kickers. A lot of people won't get a deal in 30 days doing that. Mm-hmm. So how do we find active, motivated sellers right now without spending $1 in marketing? That you can find today, right now, in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
It's going to be pursuing on-market, active, distressed deals. On the market, on your local MLS, the multiple listing service, which is a database of all properties on the market in your area. Mm-hmm. If you don't have access to the MLS, don't have a relationship with a real estate agent, it's going to be using something like Redfin.com, Realtor.com, or Zillow.com to find these active listings. And we're going to find and filter and only look for the distressed houses that are on the market right now.
Right.
Like we talked about before, they're going to go to someone that can offer all cash. We as wholesalers can offer all cash on these properties. Mm-hmm. So immediately right now, today, in our county and every single county across the United States, there are distressed houses that can be wholesaled, that can provide anyone a $10,000 wholesale fee on them. So the deals are there. Be on the lookout for the next video in this series. And if you want to build a hyper-profitable wholesaling and flipping business, then check out my full in-depth training at realestateskills.com/watch. See you there, and happy wholesaling.